welcome to day 20 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 20 already, which means that within the hour, we will officially be halfway finished with the challenge, which is just amazing. Of course, you don't have to do the entire challenge. If you just want to do this workout with me today, that's great. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But before we begin, I just want to explain a little bit about what the challenge is and how you can participate. So first of all, let me begin by telling you that this year, I am making a concerted effort to ensure that this challenge is accessible to super duper ultra day 1 beginners. So if you are an absolute beginner, never done a workout before in your entire life, you're in the right place. Don't go anywhere, okay? Stay here with me. I'm going to explain and demonstrate all of the exercises that we are doing for today's workout. Then I'll guide you through a quick little 5-minute warm-up and we'll get our reps done together. So please, if you are a beginner, stick around. If you are not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year for the challenge might not be quite difficult enough to really challenge you. So I'm going to recommend that you follow along with last year's playlist. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise and 40 push-ups a day every day except Sundays for 40 days. But last year, the workouts were much more difficult. They were more challenging because they were generally much longer. We were doing more advanced versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. With a lot of the workouts, we were adding weight and we were incorporating cardio into the workouts. So if you want to do this challenge, but you are more advanced and you want the workouts to actually challenge you, then go ahead and save last year's playlist. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of this video as well, just so that you cannot miss it. But save both playlists, because even if you are not a beginner and the workouts we did last year are more kind of on your level, the workouts we're doing this year are still great workouts. They're much shorter, they're much kind of simpler, and they're probably going to be a lot easier for you, but they are great workouts, and it's a great option to have these shorter workouts that are, I think all of these workouts so far have been body weight only. Or at least you have that option. If I'm adding weight, I'm just holding onto like a water bottle or a shampoo bottle. So they're perfect if you're traveling and you don't have access to any equipment. They're perfect for those days when you have zero time, because you are going to be able, if you're more advanced, you're going to be able to complete just about all of these workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge in under 10 minutes. So if you have no time, and you just want to bust out a quick 160 reps with me, 10 minutes, you can be done. And a lot of these workouts will also, if you're more advanced, they'll make a great warm-up for something else. So if you're planning on going for a hike or a long run or a bike ride or something like that, you can choose one of these workouts to do. It makes a great warm-up for you. So definitely, if you're more advanced, save both playlists, and then you can kind of bounce back and forth between the 2 playlists. This challenge is really easy to modify and customize, because even though I am sharing a new workout with you every single day, and you are of course invited to do exactly what I'm doing right along with me every single day, and all of the workouts are arranged in chronological order on the playlist. So there's day 1, day 2, day 3. You can go in order like that if you want, that's great, but you don't have to. Like I said, you can bounce around back and forth between the 2 playlists. You can bounce around within either or both of the playlists, okay? So you don't have to do the day 3 workout on day 3 and the day 14 workout on day 14. You can do any workout that you want to do on any given day. And if you don't want to do a structured workout, then you can just kind of do your reps randomly throughout the day. The point is that as long as you complete those 160 reps at some point over the course of the day, you have met your requirement to complete the challenge. So if you want, you can get up in the morning and first thing, just do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of an ab exercise, any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. Any variation of those 4 exercises that you want to do is fine. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the day. So you could do that again after lunch, you could do it again as soon as you get home from work, and then once more before bed. And there's your 160 reps. So as long as you get the reps done at some point during the day, it doesn't matter which variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups you do. It doesn't matter when you do them or how you do them. And the same thing goes if you do want to do a structured workout, but you don't like the workout I'm doing today. Well, if there was another one from last year or from earlier this year that you loved, just repeat that. Or if you like the workout, but you're just not vibing with like the lunge variation I'm doing, then just, swap it out for another lunge variation. As long as you're doing 40 lunges, it doesn't matter what lunge variation you do. So that's why I say it's just really easy to customize this challenge. As long as you're getting your 160 reps done every day, you have met your requirement to complete the challenge. So any way you want to get those reps done is fine. Now, if you are a beginner, this year, as I said, I am really making sure I'm going out of my way to ensure that super duper ultra day 1 beginners can do these exercises and you can do this challenge with me. So if you are an absolute beginner and you're not quite convinced of that, I want you to go to the playlist for this year's challenge. I will link that playlist up here in the iCard as well. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked at the very end of the video. Save that playlist so that when and if you do decide to join the challenge, you have all of the workouts for the challenge right there, easily accessible, all arranged for you in chronological order, and it will be super easy to follow along. Begin by watching that day 1 video, even if you're on the fence and you don't know if you want to join the challenge and you're not even convinced that you can do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups every day. Start by watching that day 1 video. That video is first of all going to explain everything you need to know about what the challenge is, how it works, how to participate, why we're doing it, and where to begin. And you are also going to see your proper form for how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. And you're also going to see tons of beginner modifications. I spent a long time making sure that you understand the proper form for these 4 exercises, and I spent a long time providing modifications that I really think anyone can do. So if you're not convinced that you are capable of doing a push-up, please give me a chance to convince you. Watch that day 1 video, and I bet after you watch that video, you will see that you absolutely can participate in this challenge if you want to. Now, if you can't participate to the degree that I am doing, meaning 160 reps every single day, essentially 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday every week for 40 days, that's understandable, but don't just scrap the whole idea because you can't participate fully. I have a couple of people who are doing the challenge, but they're not doing 40 reps of everything every day. They're doing 20 reps or 15 reps. Okay, so if you can't commit to doing 160 reps every day, can you commit to doing 80 reps or 40 reps? Can you commit to doing just 10 squats every day, 10 lunges, 10 reps of an ab exercise, and 10 push-ups? Because you can do the challenge that way. As soon as you make the commitment to do the challenge, and you're the one doing it, it's your challenge. So you can do it in any way that works for you, okay? And if you can't commit to doing all 40 days, can you commit to doing 20 days with me? Can you commit to doing 3 days a week instead of 6? Can you commit to doing 10 days? Can you commit to doing just 1 day? If anything, to whatever degree that you feel you are capable of participating, I strongly encourage you to participate to that degree, no matter how big or small, because it's always better to do something than nothing. And whatever you feel is holding you back from participating in the challenge, whether it's you feel that you're too old, or you're too out of shape, or you're too heavy, or your knees are really bad and you can't get down on the mat, you're too busy, whatever it is that you think is holding you back, I do believe that after you watch that day one video, you will see that it is a choice to do this challenge or not do this challenge. And if you choose to listen to that voice telling you, oh, there's too many reasons you can't do it, so just don't do it, that's one option. And you can just not do the challenge, okay? But if you choose to silence that voice and say, yes, I can do this challenge, and I am going to do this challenge, then I know with 100% certainty that you will find a way to do the challenge. Not doing the challenge is very easy to do. I'm 100% sure that you can find a million ways to not do the challenge. Doing the challenge is incredibly easy once you make it over that very first hurdle. And that very first hurdle is this: committing to do the challenge. Saying these words out loud: I can do this challenge, and I am going to do this challenge. That's the hardest part right there. If you can do that, then I am 100% sure that you can and you will do the challenge. You might miss a day here or there, that's life, but you will do the challenge. As soon as you decide you're going to, there is a paradigm shift. It's like a switch goes off in your brain. And you switch from seeing obstacles and making the decision to allow those obstacles to stop you in your tracks. You change from seeing those obstacles as something that's impenetrable to all of a sudden being able to see right over and right through and right around those obstacles. You're immediately going to start saying, well, I can't do that style of push-ups that she's doing today, but what can I do? Because I'm gonna do the challenge, I'm gonna get my push-ups done. I can't do that, that's my obstacle. So what can I do? You're gonna peer over the obstacle, you're gonna look around and you're gonna try to, barrel right through, you're gonna find a way to get from here to the other side. You are going to find a way to do it. I know that with 100% certainty. So please watch that day one video. Even if you think you're not gonna do the challenge, watch the day one video, and if by the end of the video, it's still, yeah, this is not for me, I don't want to do the challenge, fine, then don't do the challenge. But if by the end of that, watching that video from day one, I have convinced you that you can do the challenge, then welcome aboard. Now that you've decided you're doing the challenge because you know you can, I've convinced you that you can, you have a couple more options. You can start today. You can jump into the challenge on day 20. I don't care. I would rather, again, have you do days 20 through 40 of the challenge than none of the challenge. So if you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, start today, that's fine. Just jump in and start here. If you do want to start the challenge on day one, that's recommended. I think that's a great idea. The only thing you need to know about that is just to make sure that you start your day one workout on a Wednesday. As long as you start with that day one workout on a Wednesday, then everything is going to fall into place. All you need to do is just follow along with the playlist. So day one is on a Wednesday, any random Wednesday will work, and from there, just follow along with the playlist. Save the playlist, it's right there every day, open it up, see what are we doing today, and then just get dressed, get out here, and get your reps done with me. And remember, please, that I am right here doing this challenge with you. I'm here working out with you every single day. I'm going to be sharing a new workout every day, and before every workout, I am going to explain and demonstrate all of the exercises. So you're going to know exactly what's coming up. You're going to know how to do all of the exercises. You're going to have all of the modifications you need. So I'm here working out with you every day, but I am also here to answer questions. So after you watch that day one video, if you have any questions about the challenge, really, what is it exactly? Why are we doing it? Who's Brutus? Who is Brutus? The answer is in that day one video. But after you watch the day one video, if you have questions about Brutus, if you have questions about the correct form for squats or lunges or abs or push-ups. If you need any further help with beginner modifications, if you need some motivation, I am here to provide motivation and support and encouragement. So I'm here with you every single day. I'm here doing the reps and I'm here to help. So if at any point, whether you need a little bit of a push to get started with the challenge, or if you've started the challenge, but then you missed a couple days and you kind of let it go and dropped out of the challenge and you want to come back, if you need anything along the way, questions, guidance, motivation, any kind of support, I am right here to help every single day. So don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. So let's go ahead and get into today's workout. Starting with the tutorial, I'm going to explain and demonstrate all of the exercises that we are doing today. So I'm actually going to start today with push-ups and abs. I'm combining my push-ups and abs into one exercise. So you are going to need an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you do push-ups from your knees. So if you don't have a mat, maybe grab a towel. You could fold it up a couple of times, or even like a throw pillow, or if you have those little cushions, like I have those little cushions that go in your dining room chairs, something like that will work. Or what I thought of the other day is they have them at like Dollar Tree, you know, those little like kneeling cushions for gardening, something like that would work. Okay, so get creative and use what you've got. But if you are doing knee push-ups, you're going to want something soft beneath you. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything. But let me go ahead by first explaining and demonstrating the proper form for your push-ups, and then I'll show you how we're also combining our ab exercise in there as well. So let's begin by reviewing our proper form for push-ups. You're going to start with your hands directly underneath your shoulders. You're going to step your feet out behind you so that you are up here in a plank position. And now from here, you can do push-ups from your toes if you want. If you're a beginner, that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot do push-ups from your toes. So if you want to try the push-ups from your toes, that's great. Not all beginners are automatically at the same level just because they're beginners. So I'm going to assume that most of you are going to be doing the push-ups from your knees, and I'll demonstrate that first. But if you are able to do push-ups from your toes, that's great. Even if you can just do the first like 5 reps from your toes and then go down to your knees, that's fantastic. But assuming that most of you are going to be doing knee push-ups, from your plank position, you're just going to put your knees down right where you are. Now, if your knees are really bad and it hurts to do knee push-ups, remember that you can always double up your mat, or double it over a couple of times for some added protection for your knees. And also, if you do have something like one of those kneeling things for gardening, like those little kneeling pads, you can put that on top of your mat, or like I said, maybe a throw pillow or a cushion from your dining room chair. So if you need a little extra protection for your knees, that might be helpful. Now, there are 3 main things I want you to think about before you do your push-up. Number 1 is your head. I want your head to be in line with your spine. And what I mean by that is I don't want you to let your head drop down like this, and this is a really common mistake. So don't feel bad if you find yourself doing this, because a lot of people do this. But what you want to do to correct it is just bring your head in line with your spine. You don't need to overcorrect. I don't want you to hyperextend your neck. Your head should be just perfectly in line with your spine, as though you are standing up against a wall and just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall, just perfectly straight up and down. And throughout the entire duration of the exercise, your head should not move. Your head should be perfectly in line with your spine the entire time. Okay, the second thing I want you to be aware of is your shoulders. Your shoulders should be away from your ears. This is another very common mistake, that people will get a little fatigued or a little lazy, or maybe they just don't have the strength yet to really maintain this position, and they'll kind of sink into their shoulders like this. Do you see how my shoulders are kind of hunched up by my ears? So we want to correct that by pressing the ground away. So you want to actively press your hands into the mat as though you're trying to push the ground away from you. And did you see how my shoulders went from here to here when I pushed the ground away? Make sure you're spreading out your fingers, okay, so that you're really kind of distributing your weight as much as you can throughout all 5 fingers, and really press that ground away from you. And then the third thing I want you to be aware of is your hips. So you want to have a nice flat back, and what a lot of people will do is they'll kind of let their hips or their belly droop down towards the mat like this. Do you see how that is causing my back to arch? You don't want an arch in your back. So what you're going to need to do to correct this is tighten up your abs super tight, like someone is about to punch you in the stomach and you are bracing for that impact. You're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high like this, so that your back is nice and flat. So this is your starting position for your push-up. You want to have your body in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders, okay? So you don't want an arched back. Tighten up your abs, lift your hips up high. You don't want to be sinking down like this. You want to press the mat away. Don't let your head bob up and down. Keep your head in line with your spine, and make sure your head stays still. Now from this position, you're just going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can, maintaining that straight line from your knees to your shoulders the entire time. And then you're going to press the mat away from you to return to your starting position. Push yourself back up by pressing your hands into the mat and pushing the ground away. So I always make a distinction between your goal and your objective. So your goal is to actually touch the mat with your chest, but your objective is to maintain that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Your objective is to keep your abs tight, keep your back flat, keep your shoulders away from your ears, keep your head still, okay? So it is more important to follow through with your objective than it is to meet your goal. You might not meet your goal today. You might not be able to touch the mat with your chest today. That's something that you're working towards maybe. But the objective is not simply to just touch your chest to the mat by any means possible, okay? So if you are only able to come down this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and your chest is not touching the mat, that's fine. Don't compensate for the fact that you're unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat and arching your back, okay? Because remember, your objective is to maintain that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Your objective is to keep that back flat and keep your abs tight. The other really common mistake that a lot of people make, so don't get down on yourself if you see that you're doing it, just be aware of it so that you can fix it. So if you're only able to come down this far, a lot of people will compensate for the fact that they can't get their chest all the way down to the mat by lowering their forehead down to the mat like this, okay? And I think that usually people are not even aware that they're doing it. It's a subconscious thing, but you know that you're trying so hard to get all the way down. So if you're unable to get your chest all the way down, you want to kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're getting all the way down by lowering your forehead to the mat. Your forehead should never touch the mat. Your head should be perfectly in line with your spine the entire time. So you may not touch the mat at all with anything but your hands and your knees. That's fine, okay? Just get your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So if you can only come down this far, that's fine. Then this is your push-up. As soon as you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can, you're going to reverse the movement. You're going to straighten your elbows, push the mat away, and push yourself back up, return to your starting position. So if you need to shorten up your range of motion, just shorten up your range of motion. But you're not trying to touch the mat with anything but your chest, okay? Your hips, your belly may touch the mat if you have a big belly because you're overweight or because you're pregnant or for whatever reason. Your belly may touch the mat. That doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong, as long as you're keeping your abs super strong and tight and engaged and your back is flat. That's fine. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it wrong if your belly touches the mat. The main thing is that you want your back flat. okay? And if you are doing push-ups from your toes, it's the exact same thing. Literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line being from your knees to your shoulders, your straight line is from your heels to your shoulders. But everything else is the same. So your head is in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop like this. Your shoulders are away from your ears. You're not sinking down into your shoulders like this. You're pressing the ground away. Your abs are super strong and tight and engaged, and your back is flat. You're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. You're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. Now, if your hips end up just slightly elevated like this, that's not the worst thing. Because in that position, my back is still flat. So you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way, and it will actually make the push-ups just a little bit easier. So if you find that your hips are just slightly elevated like this, it's something to be aware of, and it's something that you want to work towards correcting, but it's okay for now. You don't have to freak out about it. You're not going to hurt yourself. The thing you really want to avoid is this, the opposite, letting your hips or your belly drop, causing your back to arch. And ideally, what you're going for is this, just one straight line from your heels to your shoulders, so that your body is literally like a plank of wood, a 2x4 or something, okay? And then from there, you don't want anything to move. So the only thing that's happening is that you're bending your elbows, lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So if you cannot get your chest all the way down, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion or put your knees down, okay? But don't compensate if you can't get your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate by lowering your forehead down to the mat, okay? Just shorten up your range of motion if you have to. Remember, your objective is maintaining that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, and your objective is what's important. So if you're not ready today to meet your goal of getting your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. If you can only get down this far without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, then this is your push-up. As soon as you've got your chest as close to the mat as you can, you're going to straighten your elbows, press the ground away from you, and return to your starting position. Now, remember that you can always make your push-ups easier by raising your hands, placing your hands on an elevated surface. Just make sure if you are going to elevate your hands, that whatever you're putting your hands on is something that is strong enough to hold your body weight. Make sure it's sturdy, meaning that it's not something that's going to collapse or break or fold up on you when you put weight on it. So for example, don't use like a folding chair. You want to use something like a chair or a stool, or a plyo box would be ideal, maybe a park bench or an ottoman. It can be any number of elevated surfaces. You just want to make sure that whatever you're using is well made and it's in good condition, and it's nothing that's going to kind of collapse or fold up on you or break when you put weight on it. And make sure that your elevated surface is stable. So for example, if you are going to use a chair, I recommend placing your chair on top of your mat to help it stay put so that it cannot slide from underneath you. Let me just grab a folding chair real quickly just so you can see what I'm talking about. So again, please do not use a chair like this. This is exactly the kind of chair I just told you not to use, but I just want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. And so you can always elevate your hands on the chair, and it'll make the push-ups a little easier. So you can come down here on your knees with your hands on the chair like this. And you can do the push-ups this way, so it's the same exact principle. You have your body in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and you're just going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the chair as you can. Just be aware, if you want to do this, that the farther away from the chair you place your knees, the more challenging the push-up will be. So if you can't do that, try inching your knees a bit closer to the chair, okay? And then from here, it will be much easier. I do find this more taxing for my knees than regular knee push-ups without my hands elevated. And that's because more of my body weight is in my knees. There's more pressure on my knees. So again, if you have the upper body strength and the core strength to do this, for example, but it hurts your knees, then just see about doubling up your mat a couple of times or finding something else that you can add to this for protection for your knees, like a cushion from your dining room chair or something like that. Okay, but elevating your hands is always going to make the push-ups a bit easier. If you still cannot get down here on your knees, you can do the same thing standing and use a kitchen counter or your dining room table or the arm of your couch, okay? So you can stand. Let's pretend that this is, it's a little low to be a kitchen counter, but let's pretend this is maybe the arm of my couch. You could very easily do the same thing from a standing position like this. And again, the more you elevate your hands, the easier it will become. So the higher your elevated surface, the less challenging the push-up will be. So something like my kitchen counter, which is up a bit higher, or finally, if you need to, you can put your hands on the wall and do wall push-ups. It's difficult to explain and demonstrate that out here because I don't have a wall, I just have this post. So if you need to see wall push-ups, please ask. I am more than happy to explain and demonstrate those for you, but just know that if you need to do a standing push-up variation, that's very doable. So for my push-up variation today, the push-up itself is just going to be a standard push-up, but I'm combining it with my ab exercise. So here's what I'm doing for my ab exercise, and then I'll show you how it all goes together. So I just did my push-up up here in my plank position. What I'm going to do now for my ab exercise is I'm going to rotate so that I'm into a side plank. I'm going to bend this top arm and place the hand behind my head. And so now from this side plank position, I'm going to dip my hips down and tap the ground with this bottom hip, and then I'm going to engage my obliques and lift the hips back up high. Then I'm going to take this foot that's behind the like the bottom leg, and I'm going to bring that knee forward and crunch knee to elbow. So as I bring this leg forward, I'm bending the knee, driving the knee towards my chest, and at the same time, I'm bringing this top elbow forward to tap the knee. Then I'm going to put that foot back, return to my side plank position, and then rotate back into my plank position. So I know all of that is maybe a little advanced if you're a beginner. So let me show you how to do it using one knee on the mat for support. So if you are doing knee push-ups, the exercise is still going to flow for you because you're down here, you've just done your knee push-up. So now in order to rotate into that side plank, you can, if you have the strength, you can just come up to a high plank like this and then do the exercise exactly the way I just did it. Side plank, dip the hip, and knee crunch, okay? But if you need to keep one knee on the mat for support, here is your beginner modification. So you've just done your push-up. Now as you rotate into that side plank, you're going to bring one hand up behind you and bend the elbow, place the hand behind your head. You're going to extend your top leg straight, but you're going to keep this bottom knee on the mat for support. And then from here, you can do the hip dip, and then you have an option. So do your hip dip, and then if you want, that can be your ab exercise. You can just rotate back into your plank position and repeat that on the other side. So, knee push up. Now pick up the opposite hand, rotate into your side plank. The top leg extends straight, your top arm bends. You place your hand behind your head and then dip the hip, and now engage your obliques to lift that hip back up high. And then you can just come back to your starting position. The other thing you could do if you want, after you do this hip dip, you're not going to be able to do the crunch the way I was doing it because this knee is on the ground for support. But if you want to try to add that element, you can try crunching this top leg in like that, bringing knee to elbow, okay? So if you want to do that, you can eliminate the crunch if you want, but if you want to include it, this is what your beginner modification will look like, all right? So push up, side plank, hip dip, knee crunch. So bend that top knee and bring knee to elbow. Rotate back into your plank position. Other side, push up, pick up the opposite hand, rotate into a side plank facing the other way, dip the hip, lift the hip, crunch the leg, or crunch the knee, bring elbow to knee, okay? And then return to your starting position, alternating sides of each rep. Okay, and if you are doing a standing push-up modification, then let me show you what you can do, because you can also do a standing ab exercise to still make the exercise flow. So let's say, for example, that you are doing push-ups off of your kitchen counter or your dining room table or the arm of your couch, okay? So we're using our imaginations and pretending that this is not a flimsy plastic folding chair. This is something nice and strong and sturdy and stable that you can safely lean on and put your weight on while you do this exercise, okay? Please use your common sense. Just be safe, okay? But just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So here I am on my arm of my couch, let's say, okay? Something strong, sturdy, and stable. I'm going to do my push-up. And then since I'm combining a push-up and an ab exercise, and we're even working obliques today for our ab exercise, so this is perfect. I'm going to step 1 foot forward and turn to the side, holding onto my chair or the arm of my couch for support. I'm extending the opposite leg out to the side, and I'm going to bend my other arm and place the hand behind my head, and then I'm just going to lift this leg and crunch knee to elbow. Very similar to what we just did on the mat, except that we're vertical, okay? So again, your goal is to actually touch your knee with your elbow, but work to your own level. So if you're not able to touch knee to elbow, you might be here, and that's fine. Work to your own level, okay? You just want to feel that nice crunch in your obliques. So bring your knee and your elbow as close together as you can. And then we're alternating sides with each rep. So then from here, you're gonna turn again, put your hands on your strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface, do another push-up, and then you're gonna alternate sides. So now you're going to step the opposite foot forward, turn and face in the opposite direction, extend your outside leg to the side, bend your other arm, the arm that's not holding onto the chair, place the hand behind your head. Lift the leg and bend the knee and crunch, bringing knee to elbow. Alternating sides. So, push up, step 1 foot forward, turn to the side, and crunch knee to elbow. Another push up, step the opposite foot in, turn to the side, and crunch knee to elbow. Okay, so there's your beginner modifications down on the mat, doing the push-up and the ab exercise from your knees, and there's your beginner standing modification for this exercise. And then let me just show you what it looks like when you put everything together if you are doing the push-ups from your toes, okay? Because I don't think I ever actually showed you that from your toes. So here's what it's going to look like. Plank position, push-up, rotate into a side plank, dip the hip, bring that back leg forward, crunch knee to elbow. That's 1. Return to your plank position, alternating sides with each rep. So now another push up, and now you're going to rotate into a side plank facing the other direction, dip the hip, lift the hip, and crunch knee to elbow, and then return to your plank position. All right, so that's abs and push-ups. That's our A and our P. So let's take it back to the start of our slap. I will show you the squat variation and the lunge variation that I am doing today, and then we'll do a quick warm up and we'll get into the workout. All right, so very simple squat variation today. I'm essentially just doing air squats. All I'm going to do is just add a little calf raise. So that part's optional, but let's go over the form for your air squat, and then you can choose what modifications you need to make, if any. So the first thing, before we squat, we tuck our shoulder blades into our back pockets. So your shoulders are back and down. So you're kind of pinching your shoulder blades together, and your shoulders are away from your ears. So make sure they're not up here, shoulders away from the ears, okay? So shoulders are back and down. We've got our shoulder blades tucked into our back pockets. Your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Again, it is like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you are bracing for that impact. Now, before we squat, we hinge. All right, make that your motto. Before you squat, you hinge. So the thing is that you don't want to think about squatting straight down, because when you do that, your knees are going to tend to end up out over your toes. It's really easy to mess up your knees that way, and it's just not the movement. Instead, what I want you to think about is hinging at the hips. So if you visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, that is going to help you find this hip hinge. And that is what's going to help you keep the weight in your heels, which is what we want, so that your knees don't end up going out over your toes. You want the weight in your heels. So really push that booty back. You should be able to actually pick up your toes, okay? And at the same time, remember, we've got our shoulders rolled back and down. Our chest is lifted nice and high. Make sure you keep that lift in your chest. So as I'm pushing my booty back and trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty, I'm also thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest, elongating that spine so that my back stays nice and flat. You're trying to make sure that you don't have a rounded back like this, okay? So roll the shoulders back and down. Try to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. And did you see what that did for my back? Now my back is flat and the weight is in my heels. And then from here is where you can sink down into your squat. All right? So if you want to squat super low and get your booty all the way down below your knees, that's fine. If you are capable of doing that without pushing yourself into doing something that you're not quite ready for, and it doesn't cause you any pain or discomfort, and you want to, then squat as low as you want, okay? Just please remember to work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing something that it is not ready to do, please. So now, goal versus objective. Your goal, eventually, is to see if you can at least squat down low enough so that your thighs are parallel to the ground. Now, you may or may not be there today, but that's your goal. So maybe you'll be able to do it today, maybe you won't meet that goal today, but with consistent effort, maybe by the end of the challenge, you'll be able to come down this low and get your thighs parallel to the ground. But your objective is to keep those shoulder blades tucked into the back pockets, to keep your chest lifted nice and high, to keep your abs super strong and tight and engaged, to keep your back flat, and to keep the weight in your heels. So as long as you're keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels, it doesn't matter if you're able to reach that goal of getting your thighs parallel to the ground today. You might be here, and that's fine. Be where you are. Just make sure you keep telling yourself, flat back, weight in the heels, okay? So once you have gotten as low as you're going to go today, you are going to press your heels into the ground to straighten your legs and stand. And I mean actively press your heels into the ground, as though you are trying to push the ground away from you with your heels. That's really going to help you activate all of these muscles that we're trying to work, all the way from your feet, all the way through your legs, your quads especially, your glutes, and of course your abs are already nice and strong and tight and engaged. Okay, so shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. Push the booty back. You're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. You're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Your back is going to stay nice and flat. You're keeping your weight in your heels as you sink down into that squat. And then you're going to press the ground away from you to stand. All right, that's a basic air squat. And you can stay right here if you want. This is essentially all I'm going to be doing. The only thing that I'm adding to this is a calf raise at the top. So I'm going to squat down, and then as I come up, I'm going to come all the way up onto my toes, as high as I can onto my toes, okay? You want your foot to look like a Barbie doll, all right? So really lift your heels up as high as you can. And that's it. That's our squat variation. Just make sure the movement is under control, okay? So you're gonna squat, and then you're gonna come up onto your toes as high as you can. Then you're going to lower your heels, but make sure you're not just letting the heels drop down, okay? The point is that you want to lift your heels, really feel those calves, Achilles, and then you want to lower your heels with control, okay? So you obviously don't have to do it that slowly. I'm just demonstrating how I'm not just falling. I'm not just letting my heels drop down. I'm squatting, and then I'm intentionally lifting and lowering my heels, okay? So squat, lift, and lower with control. If it is too difficult, you can hold on to a strong, sturdy, stable chair or other elevated surface for support. You may or may not need the chair for your squat. If you do, hold on to it. If you don't, then do your squat unassisted, but you might need it to assist you if you lack balance. This is going to be a lot easier for you. You can use the chair to steady you. So if you need to hold on to the chair for support while you squat, that's fine. If you don't need it for the squat, don't use it. And then you can just place your hands here to steady yourself for the calf raise. Okay, work to your own level, but a chair is always an option to assist you. And if you need to squat into the chair, remember that's another option as well. You can stand in front of your chair and squat down into the chair. Just make sure, again, that the movement is under control and that you're not just plopping your booty into the chair. Booty plops into a chair is not an exercise. It's not an exercise that's part of this challenge. We're squatting, okay? So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. You're gonna push your booty back, you're gonna keep your back flat and the weight in your heels as you lower yourself down into the chair with control. And again, you don't have to go this slowly. I'm just demonstrating how much that movement is completely under control. And then once your booty hits the chair, you can sit into the chair. When you're ready to get up, you're going to press your heels into the ground. Activate all of those muscles from your feet through your quads, your glutes, your core as you straighten your legs to stand, okay? So if you're at this level and if you feel that you're capable of adding the calf raise and you want to try it, go for it if you feel you can do so safely. But if you are at this level, then I don't think it's a bad idea to just do this. Just work on your squats, work on your form, and work on building up the leg strength and the core strength to be able to eventually do an unassisted air squat. And then once you're able to do an unassisted air squat, you can probably then add the calf raise like this, okay? It's your decision to make, so please listen to your body, be smart, be safe, work to your own level. I never want you to push your body into doing something that it's not ready to do, but I do want you to challenge yourself. So you make the decision that's best for you. But if you are at this level where you're squatting into the chair, I'm fine if you just do this, okay? But if you feel that you're able to do so safely and you want to try the calf raise, go for it. You can even have something else in front of you just in case you need to hold on to it for support. Maybe a second chair in front of you, or do this in front of the arm of your couch and have your arm of your couch there to support you if you want to try to come up onto your toes for the calf raise. Okay, but that's your squat variation for today. along with your beginner modifications. So finally, let's go over our lunge component for today's workout. I am going to be doing forward lunges for today's workout. So you're going to begin by just kind of standing in a neutral position. What I mean by that is that my feet are just kind of in line with my hips. So whatever feels natural to you. You don't want your feet out wide, so definitely not wider than your shoulders, but you're also not starting with your feet together like this. So my feet are about hip width apart. So that's where you want to start. And again, you want to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Your chest is lifted nice and high. You want your abs to be strong and tight and engaged. Now from this position, I'm going to just step one foot forward, and I'm going to bend both knees and come down into my lunge. Very simple, very straightforward exercise. I like to tap my back knee to the ground. If you are capable of getting your knee all the way down to the ground and you want to tap the ground with your knee, fine, do it. Just make sure the movement is under control. The movement should be under control regardless, but especially if you're going to tap that back knee to the ground, I don't want you to like bang your knee into the ground because it hurts. So just be careful, make sure you're controlling the movement and don't bang your knee into the ground, okay? But if you are unable to tap the ground with your knee, that's fine. You don't have to. Again, work to your own level. So if your range of motion is here, then this is your lunge. That's fine. You don't have to tap the ground with your knee. The main thing with your lunges is just that once you are down in the lunge, I want you to be aware of the angle of your front knee. You're going for more or less a 90-degree angle in this front knee. So I want the knee of this front leg, my lunging leg, to be more over the heel of my front foot as opposed to being out over the toes like this, okay? I will not, I promise you, I will not be coming to your house with a protractor and measuring the angle of your front knee. So just do your best, okay? Now when we're doing forward lunges, it's really easy to kind of overshoot with that knee. When you're stepping forward, it's gonna be very easy to end up in this position, okay? So just be aware of it. If you want to kind of stack the deck in your favor, you can do reverse lunges instead, and that will increase the likelihood that your knee placement in the front leg will be correct. So it's the same exercise, but instead of stepping forward to get into your lunge position, you're going to be here and you're going to step backwards. So you're going to pick up one foot and step behind you. And since you're going this way, it's much easier to achieve that 90-degree angle in your front knee. In order to end up here, you'd almost have to try to do it wrong because you're going this way. So it's just much easier to find that correct placement. So if you're a super duper beginner and you don't trust yourself to do forward lunges correctly, you can do reverse lunges. Remember, you can do any lunge variation that you want. So that's just something to think about. I do think that it's a good idea to record yourself doing a few reps and see where you're ending up, because this is something that you might be doing without even noticing it, kind of ending up with your knees too far out over your toes like this. So make the decision that's best for you, but reverse lunges are always an option, and that might be better for the level that you're at right now. So, you know, you make that call. But I'm going to be stepping forward into a reverse lunge. So I'm going to step forward and bend both knees, and then I'm going to press the ground away and straighten my legs to stand. Then from here, you can step back with your front leg and return to your starting position and just do forward lunges, okay? So then you would alternate legs. So now for my next rep, I would pick up the opposite foot, step it forward, bend both knees, sink down into my lunge, and then as I straighten my legs, I'm gonna push the ground away from me and step back. So if you wanna just do forward lunges, you can stay right here. And this is your lunge component today. All right, I'm going to be increasing the difficulty by lifting my front leg with control, lifting and lowering the leg with control while I'm in that lunge position. And I'm gonna bring my hands together and kind of clap them under my leg. So I'm going to start with my arms extended overhead. I'm going to step my foot forward, come down into this lunge, and then before I step back, I'm going to lift this front leg, and I'm going to bring my arms down and clap them together under the knee, and then I'll put the leg back down, return to my lunge position, and then I'll step back, okay? So it's going to look like this. Arms up overhead to start. Lunge, lift the front leg, and lower with control, then step back. Alternating sides with each rep. So now other foot, steps forward, lunge, lift the leg, lower the leg with control, and step back. And as I lift that front leg, I'm bringing my arms underneath and kind of clapping them together. If that's too difficult for you, but you want to add that element, then you can add the knee lift after the lunge. So you can step forward and lunge, then step back, and then pick up that same leg that you just lunged with, drive the knee up towards your chest, and clap your hands underneath, and then alternate sides. So then step forward with the opposite leg, bend both knees, sink into your lunge, step back. Now pick up the same foot, drive the knee up towards your chest, clap the hands together under the knee, and then return to your starting position, okay? So you can lunge, step back, and march. Other side, lunge, step back, drive the knee up, clap the hands down underneath. That is another option if you want to add that. If not, just stick with your forward lunges or your reverse lunges, that's fine. Just to make sure that if you are adding that leg lift, that the movement is under control. You want your leg lift to be under control on the way up, and you want the movement to be under control as you lower your leg back down. So what you don't want is this lunge and then kind of flailing about. Now, I'm not saying you're not gonna see me do something similar to that during the workout, because it's a difficult exercise, and you know, every rep isn't gonna be super perfect. And yeah, I exaggerated it a little bit, just so you can see what I'm talking about. But what you do want, instead of like a flail and a banging your knee down, or your foot back down, what you do want is something, now let's see if I can do it correctly, something that looks more like this. So you're going to lunge, and then you're going to lift that leg with control and lower it with control. So did you hear how quiet it was when I put it back down? Because it wasn't falling down. I was lowering it with control. So now other side, lunge, lift the leg and lower with control. You see how softly and quietly I was able to put my foot down because the movement was under control. Same thing if you're going to lunge first and then do the leg lift from here. Just make sure that your leg lift is under control, okay? So you're driving the knee up with control and you're lowering the leg back down with control, placing the foot down softly instead of just kind of, you know, flailing about and letting gravity just bring your foot back to the ground. You want to be lowering your foot down back to the ground with intent and with control. Beginner modification for the lunges. Strong, sturdy, stable chair. Stand just a little bit behind your chair. The reason is that if you start standing right here next to your chair, by the time you lunge forward, your chair is going to be behind you, and you want it right next to you while you're actually in the lunge if you're holding onto a chair for support. So if you're going to be stepping forward, you want to start just behind your chair like this. One hand on the chair for support, and then you're going to step one foot forward and then bend both knees, sink down into your lunge, step it back, okay? The chair is here to support you if you need it, all right? So hand lightly on the chair, step forward, use the chair for support. Your other beginner modification is just to shorten up your range of motion. So if you can't take a super wide stance, if you can't take like a super big step forward and you can't sink down so low in the lunge that your knee is tapping the ground, then shorten up your range of motion. Take a shorter step forward, and sink down, not quite as deep into the lunge, okay? So shortening up your range of motion on this step, shortening up your range of motion as you sink down into the lunge, and holding onto a chair for support. And again, if you prefer reverse lunges, you can do the same thing, just holding onto your chair for support. You can take a step behind you, alternate sides with each rep, but you can shorten up your range of motion so you're not stepping here, you're stepping here, and you're not lunging here, you're lunging here, okay? So either reverse lunges or forward lunges, shortening up your range of motion and holding on to a strong, sturdy, stable chair or some other elevated surface for support is your beginner modification. And again, if you want to add the little leg lift, that is up to you. So you can step forward, sink into your lunge, and then step back. And if you want, you can try to let go of the chair for your leg lift, or if you need to still hold on to the chair, hold on to the chair, that's fine. All right, and then other leg, which leg did I start on? I don't even remember. Other leg, step forward, step it back, and then either just drive the knee up, or if you want to try to let go, you can clap your hands together underneath, okay? But shortening up the range of motion, holding onto the chair for support, and then doing your knee lift if you want, without clapping your hands underneath, if you need to hold onto the chair for support. Okay, so just do what works for you, but I think all of those beginner modifications should be pretty feasible for everyone doing the challenge. But again, if you need any further help with beginner modifications, if you can't do it this way for whatever reason, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. But that's it, that's all of the exercises that we are doing today, along with all of your beginner modifications. Now here is the format. We're starting with our abs and push-ups. So we're doing our push-up plus our side plank, hip dip, and knee crunch combo. So each push-up plus each side plank, whatever you're doing for your side plank, I'm doing the hip dip and then that oblique crunch, bringing knee to elbow. That's one rep. And we're alternating sides with each rep. So we're going to do 20 of those. It's going to be tough. That's a tough little combo, so just do your best. But we're going to be starting with 20 of those. So that means that our abs and our push-ups will be halfway finished. Then we're gonna take a little break from abs and push-ups and recover by doing our squats and our lunges. We're going to do all 40 squats and all 40 lunges, okay? Now I'm going to do 40 squats and then 40 lunges, but if you prefer, you can do half your squats, half your lunges, and then repeat it, okay? You can always make whatever changes and modifications you need to make in order to make it work for you. But I'm going to do 20 reps of my push-ups and abs combo, and then I'm going to do all 40 of my squats, and I'm going to do all 40 reps of lunges, and then I'll go ahead and finish up with my final 20 reps of my push-ups and abs combo. That's how I'm doing it. Okay, remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and of course I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you, so watch me do it. Read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how everything fits together, if the format that I'm doing is not going to work for you and you need help to kind of make adjustments and maybe switch up the format a little bit to make these reps more manageable for you, I'm right here to help, okay? Remember, you can make whatever changes and modifications you need to make. If you have any questions about the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already demonstrated and explained in the video, I am right here to help. So please just ask, okay? It's really important that you understand the movement, you understand how to do each of these exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. You guys know it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. have questions or if you need help. And then finally, before we get started, I just want to remind you, as important as it is that you understand the movement and you understand how to do the exercises correctly, it is equally as important that you apply that knowledge during the workout. So please make sure, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, that you are going at your own pace and that you are minding your form. So what I mean by that is you never want to sacrifice your form for speed. Now, if you are in decent shape, you will almost definitely be faster than I am, and that's great. If you are faster than I am, be faster than I am, just as long as you are not sacrificing your form to get there. If you are slower than I am, that's also fantastic. Do you know why? Because you're doing the reps. So who cares how quickly you get them done? The thing that matters is that you are minding your form. So if you're slower than I am, be where you are. Be slower than I am. That's fine. If you fall behind, either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you need to stop and rest, that's absolutely fine. You can always just pause the video and come back when you're ready. But you should only come back when you feel that you have enough strength and enough stamina to continue with good form. You never want to be racing to try to keep up with me or racing through the exercises just because you're just trying to go fast for the sake of going fast to be able to say you got a really good score or something. Okay? You want to mind your form. That's the most important thing above all else. So if you need to pause and rest, or if you just fall behind and you need to pause the video, pause the video. Challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but make sure that your rest breaks are as long as you need them to be, so that you are only resuming the workout once you have regained enough strength and enough stamina to continue with good form. Okay, so it's really important that you are listening to your body and working to your own level. Go at your own pace and please mind your form. Make sure that you are not sacrificing your form for speed. I hope I've covered everything. I've been going on for 2 hours, so I better have covered everything. So now if you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, gather whatever equipment you need. So that is likely going to include an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all, but especially if you are doing knee push-ups, you are going to be much more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So again, get creative and use what you've got. A throw pillow might work, or a cushion off of one of your dining room chairs or patio chairs if you have something like that. Grab a strong, sturdy, stable chair or some other elevated surface if you need to hold on to something for support. And then pause the video, go get dressed, and meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm-up together, and then we'll go ahead and get our reps done. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our little 5-minute warm-up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to gently fall towards one shoulder. And then you're going to place your hand on top of your head. You are not actively pulling your ear towards your shoulder. Just rest your hand there and let gravity do the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. And then we're going to switch sides. So you're going to let your head fall towards the opposite shoulder, place your hand on top, and just rest it there, letting gravity do the work of lightly stretching the other side of your neck. Make sure both of your shoulders are relaxed. So if you find this other shoulder creeping up towards your ear, push it back down. And then we're gonna do some neck rolls. So you're gonna start by dropping your chin to your chest and then roll your head towards the opposite shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head, just start feeling your head get heavier and heavier, letting it fall down. Your arms are nice and loose, like a rag doll. You're slowly expanding your range of motion. Now we're gonna roll our shoulders back. So you wanna really exaggerate the movement, make big circles with your shoulders. So you're kind of pushing them forward, bringing them all the way up to your ears and then squeezing your shoulder blades together behind you. Now we're gonna do arm circles, so extend your arms to the side and start by making small circles. And then gradually you're going to make your circles bigger and bigger, expanding your range of motion until finally you're swinging your arms as big as you can. Now you're gonna step your feet out a little bit wider than shoulder width, bend the knees, and just kind of sweep your hands down in front of you and then reach them up towards the ceiling as you straighten your legs to stand. And with each knee bend, you're gonna sink a little deeper into that squat. Now keep your feet where they are. We're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching across your body with that arm. Imagine trying to throw your arm across the room. Now we're gonna step our feet together and march. So starting with the knees low, and then gradually, as the interval progresses, you can start driving your knees up higher and higher until finally you're driving your knees as close to your chest as you can get them, feeling a nice little stretch in your glutes. And then we're gonna do the same thing with a nice light jog. So start with your knees low, and then little by little, start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest. And then we're gonna do our little booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but this time with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. Now for this next one, you might need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're gonna transfer your weight into one leg, and with the other leg, you're just gonna swing front and back. Switching sides. So now you're gonna put this foot down, shift your weight, pick up the other foot, and just swing it to the front, swing it to the back. Nice and loose. Next, we're going to start with this foot extended out in front on the ground. Now draw a little semicircle on the ground, bringing that leg around and behind you. And each time you make the semicircle, you can lift that leg higher and higher until finally what I like to do is drive my knee up in front of me towards my chest, switching sides. So extend the foot or extend the leg out in front of you, make a little semicircle going around and behind you. Gradually lifting that leg higher and higher. And then finally, you can drive your knee to the front up towards your chest and kind of guide it around with your hand as you make that semicircle. Okay, last but not least is our hamstring stretch. So I'm coming over to this post. You can use the wall or a chair to assist you if you need to. You don't have to, but the reason I like to demonstrate it this way is because if you use a chair or the arm of your couch or something like that to assist you to get into this stretch, it helps you to keep your back flat. If you allow your back to round in this stretch, it's not terrible, you're not gonna hurt yourself, but if you do your best to keep your back nice and flat, it's really going to help you isolate your hamstrings, and it's going to intensify that stretch, make it more effective. So if you don't need to use a chair, you don't have to, but if you use a chair or the wall, the way I demonstrated on that post, it just can make it a lot easier to get into this stretch, make it a lot easier to keep your back as flat as you can keep it. And it just helps to really increase the effectiveness of the stretch. And I know that was more than 5 minutes because I always like to spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch. But now we are nice and warm, so let's go ahead and get started on our reps. So we are starting with our push-ups and abs combo. I'm doing a push-up plus a side plank with a hip dip and an oblique knee crunch. Alternating sides with each rep. I'm going to do 20 reps of this exercise before moving on to my squats and my lunges. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Coming down onto the mat, and I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So coming up to your plank position for a push-up. Now rotate into that side plank. Dip the hip, lift the hip, and crunch. Back into your plank position. That's 1. Other side, push-up, side plank, hip dip, crunch. That's 2. So I'm gonna zip it because this is a challenging exercise, and we're going to 20. So I'm going to do my best to see if I can do the 18 that I have left without stopping. I'll probably need to stop, but I'm gonna zip the lips so I can conserve some energy. You know what we're doing. So 20 reps, do your best. I'm counting those 2 as my first 2 reps, so I'm gonna do 18. Okay, I did it. That was all 20. So now, moving on to squats and lunges. I'm gonna do all 40 squats before I move on to lunges. So I'm doing this squat with a calf raise. So squat, calf raise. That's 2, 3, 4, we're going to 40, do your best. 20, halfway there. I didn't like that last calf raise. Movement didn't feel 100% under control as I lowered my heels, so just redid that one part. That's 40 squats, now 40 lunges. So I'm starting with my hands extended overhead. I'm doing a forward lunge, whoops. Take two, forward lunge. Lift the leg, lower the leg back down with control. Alternating sides with each rep. That's two. Just kind of clap those hands together underneath that front leg. That's three. And four. Making sure you're controlling the movement with that front leg. Eliminate the leg lift if it's too difficult. I'm gonna zip it. I have to do 36 more of those. So here we go, when you're ready. That's 20 for me. I have to do 20 more, but my quads just need a little bit of a break. Picking up my count at 20. When you're ready, if you need to rest longer, just pause the video. push-ups are half done. So have another 20 reps of this tough little push-up and side plank combo. Let me see if I can do 10 without stopping. Just do your best. I have 10 left. That's 16. I just have to do 4 more. Just a quick rest. Couple more deep breaths. Final 4 reps. Get up. I know that was tough, and I know that after you complete that final rep, it's really tempting to just collapse in a broken heap on your mat, maybe cry a little, but it's really important to get up. Just force yourself to get up and move around a little. You can just pace back and forth, shake out the legs, shake out the arms. You can do a quick shoulder stretch. You saw me doing these in the middle of my set of push-ups and abs because that exercise is especially taxing on your shoulders. All that time holding yourself up by one arm in that side plank position, and especially because I'm still dealing with issues with this shoulder. That was really taxing for me, for my shoulders. So just want to take a minute to stretch them out. Just make sure that the shoulder that's stretching, you want this arm to be completely relaxed, okay? Just let gravity take over. This arm is completely relaxed. The shoulder is relaxed. I'm using my other arm to pull the arm that's being stretched in towards my chest. But this bent arm is the only arm that's working, all right? My straight arm is completely relaxed. Stretch out the triceps a little bit as well. So just bending one elbow, using your other arm to gently pull that elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Make sure that the hand in the arm that's being stretched is pointing down towards the small of your back. So you don't want it up here somewhere. And just gently pull, feel that stretch in your tricep. And then for me, again, I feel it in this shoulder. It's improving, but it's still not 100%. So just get the other side, bending the other arm, placing your hand on top of your elbow and just gently pulling your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, and make sure that the hand of the arm that's stretching is pointing down towards the ground. Stretch it out, swing those arms, make sure those shoulders are nice and loose. Heart rate is starting to come down a little bit. We can do a quick quad stretch. It's just important to, if you're having trouble balancing for this, again, you can hold on to the wall or a chair or something. I usually have pretty good balance, but when I'm fatigued, it's harder. So after the workout, I'm gonna tend to have more trouble finding my balance. So you can hold on to something for balance if you want. But what I was saying is just that it's just, you want to get up and do a little cool down. It doesn't have to be anything super structured. You can just pace around a little bit and do what I'm doing, just do a little light stretching, but you want to just keep the blood flowing, keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come back down to normal. And during this quad stretch, remember you want to be tilting your hips forward. So if you stand neutral, you naturally are going to have a curve in your low back. So for this quad stretch, you want to bring one foot up behind you. I'm squeezing I'm using my hand to kind of press my heel into my booty cheek. But as you do that, you want to tilt your hips forward like this, like you're trying to suck your belly button all the way to your spine. So that when you go from here to here, you're really gonna feel that stretch intensify in your quad. So as you're pushing your heel into your booty cheek, you're also sucking your belly button in towards your spine, tilting your hips forward this way. All right, shake out the legs. If your heart rate has not normalized yet and your breathing hasn't slowed down, then just keep pacing around and doing a little light stretching. Just keep moving until you feel that your heart rate is back to normal and your breathing has normalized again. So my official score for today is 14 minutes and 47 seconds. I wanted to actually finish this in closer to 12 minutes today, but those were some pretty difficult variations that we were doing today. The lunges taxed me a lot more than I anticipated, and the push-ups and abs went actually a little bit better than I was anticipating. But still, I ended up missing my goal by over 2 minutes, but I got my 160 reps done, and that's what matters. I did my 40 squats, I did my 40 lunges, I did my 40 reps of abs, and I did my 40 push-ups. We have just 1 rep left to go. Remember that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. The bonus burpee is mandatory. You do not have to do a push-up. I always include a push-up with my bonus burpee, but there are plenty of burpee variations that do not include a push-up. So if you don't want to do any more push-ups, you don't have to do a push-up, but you do have to do a burpee. There are a million different burpee variations, so just choose any burpee variation that does not include a push-up, and that's fine. You can do any burpee variation you want, but you must do your bonus burpee. So if you are a beginner, let me walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. You are going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Now put your knees down for a push-up if you want to do a push-up. If not, you can eliminate the push-up. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and just do 1 final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. Nicely done. And now it's really important to make sure that you are taking a good 15 or 20 minutes or so, more if you can, to stretch. Right now, immediately after the workout is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm. They are therefore more pliable. The same way we warm up before we start the workout, it's also really important to make sure that you don't jump into your stretching routine with cold muscles. You always want to warm up your muscles first. So if you do your stretching right now, you don't have to warm up your muscles because they're already warm. If you don't have time to do your stretching now, that's fine. You can do it later on in the day. As long as you get your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what matters. But just keep in mind that if you wait until later in the day to do your stretching, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you jump into your stretching routine so that you reduce your risk of injury. You definitely don't want to overstretch or pull or strain a muscle during your stretching routine because that's a big part of the reason that we do our stretching is to help reduce our risk of injury. So make sure that you take a few minutes to warm up before you start your stretching routine, or you can just do it right now while your muscles are already nice and warm. Just don't skip your stretching. It's really important. Especially if you are a beginner, it's likely that you might be experiencing some muscle soreness after these workouts. So if you take the time to stretch every day, you're really going to help to alleviate some of that muscle soreness, and you're also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward. Because the more you train your muscles to be more flexible and more pliable in general, that's going to mean that you're increasing your range of motion. It's going to mean that your muscles are less susceptible to being strained or pulled during a future workout. And you're going to improve your flexibility and your mobility, which is very important in its own right. I think that flexibility and mobility are generally overlooked and undervalued as an aspect of your overall fitness level. So it's important just to be more flexible and more mobile, especially as we age. And again, everyone I know is aging. If you know anyone who's getting younger, you can let me know. But as far as I know, we're all in the same boat. We're all getting older, so it's never too soon to start focusing on that aspect of your fitness and work to improve your flexibility and your mobility. So really important to make sure that you're taking time to stretch every day. If you are a beginner and you don't know how to stretch and you don't know what to do, just go on YouTube and search for like beginner stretching routine or stretching routine for inflexible people, and there will be tons of great options there, I'm sure. That's what I did years and years ago to find the stretching routine that I do every day. I went on YouTube and I searched for, My muscles were really tight and I was really inflexible, so I did some kind of search for stretching routine for inflexible people. And the routine that I found worked for me and I like it, so I've stuck with it ever since. It's really the only stretching routine that I ever do. So if you would like that link, just let me know. If you want to know the exact stretching routine that I do every day, I'll be happy to share that link with you, but it doesn't matter what you're doing for your stretching as long as you're doing your stretching. Before I do my stretching, I'm going to add on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That is why I am holding Rudbecca. Rudbecca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. And if you would like to know where I got this jump rope, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link, use coupon code Rudbecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope if you're in the market for a new jump rope. I add on cardio after every single workout. This is always how I've done the challenge. This is my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, and every year this is how I do it. So that's why I'm bringing it up. You don't have to do the additional cardio. And if you do the additional cardio, it doesn't have to be jump rope. It's just that this is always my go-to. 9 times out of 10, my additional cardio is going to be jump rope. So I'm going to set my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm just gonna play some music and get my cardio done, 20 minutes, then I'll do my stretching, and then I'm done for the day. I can go have my shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. But some days I might decide I want to go for a run. That's very rare because I actually hate running. But some days I might decide to go for a run, or I'll hop on the exercise bike for 30 minutes. When I have time, I will go for a hike. So it can be any type of moderate paced cardio that you want. You can go for a jog or a brisk walk. You can go for a hike if you'd like and if you have time. If you do have something like an exercise bike or a treadmill or elliptical, hop on one of those. Jump rope is a great option. So again, you can just get a playlist together that makes you happy, that will make the cardio a lot less painful, and just 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be more than 20-30 minutes. Just knock it out real quickly before you do your stretching. The additional cardio is additional. It's not required. It is not technically part of the challenge. But again, I just want to be upfront because I want to be transparent so that you know that when I do this challenge, I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day, because this is all I'm doing for strength training. I'm relying on these 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups every day for my strength training. But I'm adding on the cardio because I am looking to use this challenge to get myself in shape. I want to lose weight, I want to improve my stamina, and I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs. So the additional cardio goes a long way towards helping to accelerate that process. And it helps me to see results faster. And the sooner I start seeing the results of all my hard work, the more encouraged I become to keep going, because I can see that what I'm doing is working. I like the changes that I'm seeing in my body. I like the fact that I'm seeing myself get stronger. I'm seeing my stamina improve, and I'm seeing changes to my body. So when you can see those results, it's really encouraging. And when you feel encouraged, it's easier to find the motivation to keep going. Motivation can be really, really difficult to come by. So anything you can do to help yourself get motivated to get up and get dressed and get out here and get these reps done every day and stick with the challenge is only going to help you establish that habit of daily exercise. That's a big part of what we're trying to accomplish with this challenge. So it's going to help you do that. It's going to help you just see results faster, and you're going to be a lot happier with your results at the end of the challenge. Now, I know that 6 cardio sessions a week is a lot, because if you're doing what I'm doing and adding on cardio after every single workout, we're working out every Monday through Saturday, and you might not have time to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just might have the stamina, you might not have the stamina yet to do that, and I hear you. that's completely reasonable. But if you can even just squeeze in 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, again, it can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. It doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. But if you can find time during the week, 20 or 30 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, I really think that it's going to help accelerate the process of getting in shape, losing weight, building strength, improving your stamina. Whatever goals you have in mind of what you're trying to accomplish with this challenge, the additional cardio is going to help you get there faster. It's going to enable you to start seeing results and start seeing changes in your body faster, which is going to encourage you to keep going. It's going to make it easier to stick with the challenge because A, you're going to be more motivated because seeing the results motivates you to keep going, and B, you're going to be getting stronger faster and your stamina is going to be improving faster, and that's going to make the workouts themselves easier. So I just think if you can find time to do 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, you're going to start to see results faster, and that is going to help you in the challenge, and it's going to make you a lot happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So the additional cardio is not required. It is not mandatory. It is not officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. But whether or not you are adding cardio today, our 161 reps are complete. We did 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So you guys, that is officially a wrap on day 20, and that means that as of right now, this very moment in time, we are officially exactly halfway finished with the challenge. You guys are doing an amazing job. Well done. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this workout with me today, thank you very much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. Please remember that if you are not doing the challenge and you want to begin, it is never too late to join, okay? You can jump right in and start today on day 20. You can start tomorrow with day 21. If you want to start on day 1, that is fantastic. Just remember to save the playlist so that you have all of the workouts readily available to you each day. And then when you are ready to begin, make sure that you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday. As long as you start with day 1 on a Wednesday, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place for you. It's super easy to follow along. I also want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I have been getting a lot of new subscribers lately. I don't know why, but it makes me very, very happy. So if you are one of those new subscribers, thank you so much. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if you have questions about the challenge, what the challenge is, how it works, why we're doing it, who's Brutus, why does he need to be slapped, where do I begin, I am right here to help, okay? So please just ask. I am doing the challenge. I am here working out with you every single day, but I am also here to answer your questions. I am here to offer guidance or support or motivation or encouragement, whatever you need. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help or if you need guidance or support or encouragement or help getting motivated. I'm right here. If you have any questions about today's workout, if anything is unclear with the format, and how everything fits together, how you can kind of customize things and restructure the format to suit your time constraints or your level of fitness. If you have questions about any of the exercises that we were doing today, any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided in the video, I am right here to help, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 21. Bye.